and welcome to Pale Blue Pod, the astronomy podcast for people who are overwhelmed by the universe but still want to be its friend. I am your host. I'm Dr. Moiya McTier. I'm an astrophysicist, a folklorist, and a good friend to the universe. I'm recording from here in my office at Pale Blue Podiversity, and I'm expecting a couple guests. Amanda Silberling is a tech and culture journalist whose work you may have seen in TechCrunch, and Isabel J. Kim Esquire is a fiction author / real-life trained attorney. Together, they are the hosts of Wow If True, another show on Multitude, and they should be here any minute now. Hey, welcome. Come on in.
Hi. Is it okay if I bring food into office hours? I was just running between classes and it was just crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I also have a full fridge of snacks and drinks if you need anything else.
Hi, can I steal a seltzer, TBT?
Yeah. I have an assortment of flavors. Please pick your favorite.
Isabel did used to give me seltzers from the law school library.
Yeah, I used to steal.
Yeah.
Aw, that's so nice.
When I was working down the street from the law school and Isabel was in law school, and then we would meet up for lunch and I would get a seltzer.
Oh, wait, is that how you two met?
No.
We met in a poetry in a digital culture class in undergrad. That's how we met, and I feel like that actually explains everything about the way the podcast is. But then we ended up working. Amanda was working at a art museum that was literally down a block from the law school. So I would steal seltzers from the law review office that I was not really supposed to steal, but nobody cared, and walk over and we'd hang out.
Yeah.
Because the school has more money than they need. And,
exactly.
You were exhibiting friendship. That's real friendship.
Yeah. We did also in college. This is related to my relationship with astronomy because I was taking a printmaking class and an astronomy class at the same time, but I would just stay in the printmaking class and then not go to the astronomy class, which is perhaps why I did not learn much about astronomy in my astronomy class.
That's why you're here at office hours.
Exactly.
At office hours, yeah.
Yeah. But we had a sort of business where we got into screen printing and would make t-shirts. And so a lot of our undergrad experience was me and Isabel in the basement of a building that used to be an orphanage that was then turned into a fine arts building, making t-shirts that said insane things.
That was an insane sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're right. Isabel, I think that does really explain so much about you two and Wow If True. For the listeners, a little bit, can you tell us a bit about Wow If True before we get into the Pale Blue Pod of it all?
Okay, Wow If True is an internet culture podcast that kind of talks about how the internet affects real life. Prior to this year, it was more theoretical, and I feel like now it is less theoretical, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. The way that we describe our podcast is it is the only podcast that will both discuss horizontal mergers and Sasuke, safe for work Sasuke, in the same episode.
What is Sasuke?
Okay, Sasuke is a character from Naruto, but specifically safe for work Sasuke is when you send a photo of Sasuke to cover up the fact that you were talking about porn or something you don't want your parents to see. And it's from one specific meme on the internet.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. Another way of describing it is that it's talking about stupid things for smart people.
I love it. Yeah, I just learned a little bit, and I feel like I'm always behind on internet trends. So if you are like me, listeners, catch up on Wow If True.
Honestly, lately I feel like I'm behind on internet trends too, which is this is my job, and I don't know what's going on.
Because it moves so fast.
There's too much on the internet, and you kind of have to accept, maybe it's like space, where you'll never know all of it.
That is an excellent segue, because there is a lot to the universe. There's so much we don't and can't know. There's so much of the universe that we can't observe, right? But when you think about the parts of the universe that you do know about, how does that make you feel?
I feel like the relationship with the universe question could change on any given day. I think in a way it's kind of comforting knowing that we are just kind of flesh sacks on a rock, and also just knowing that so many really specific things had to happen so specifically for us to exist on Earth and have sentient life. And it's kind of just I don't know. I mean, do I believe in a higher power? I don't know. But I do believe that there's just something in the universe that kind of just sometimes makes things go together, such as the composition of the atmosphere on planet Earth. And that's just kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that is gravity. A lot of the greater force bringing things together, it's gravity. So thank you. Isabel, what about you? How do you feel when you think about the universe?
Contrary to Amanda's very thoughtful answer, mine is very much like, sweet, it's free real estate, because I write science fiction, so anything that we don't know about is kind of free game for me to be like, but what if it was wizards, or what if it was magic? What if it's like, oh, so here's how we can actually do faster than light travel using this one easy trick that doctors don't want you to know about.
Speaking of office hours, I love the image of Isabel in college going to visit her family in Korea, where her dad is like teaching physics and she's just sitting in the corner on her laptop with like insane internet stickers, just like typing, and the students are coming in and is like, who is that person?
I was studying for the LSAT and I was doing an internship at my dad's university.
Oh, yeah, Isabel's a physics nepo baby, meaning that if she studied physics, she'd be a nepo baby.
So many people I went to school with were physics nepo babies. Most astrophysics people, come from astro or academic families.
So I was like hanging out in my dad's office with like 2 LSAT big prep books and also like 2 different iced coffees, like a little snack from the bakery, my laptop, my phone, kind of just creating a whole mess as I would do in my own house because it's my dad's office. It's fine. There's pictures that I drew when I was 4 years old up there.
Yeah.
And then students or like other people or like his postdocs or something would come in and be like, they would give me like a look like, why is she so comfortable here? Why is she sitting here like that?
Sounds to me like you should have put more art up and really claimed the space as your own.
Yeah.
But I love that both of your associations with space are so positive and like nostalgic and hopeful. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What is your favorite unit of measurement?
I'm gonna go with a Kelvin.
Nice.
Crazy I don't know why. I just think it's funny. Actually, no, I have another. My answer is actually pica.
Oh,
yeah.
Like a is that distance?
Yeah, it's like specifically used in typesetting. That's like the only place where you will measure a pica. And that's also how you get like N dashes and M dashes, where it's like an N dash is just the size of the letter N, which is a certain amount of pica depending on what size the font is. We also had like a letterpress thing in college. We did a lot of weird art together in college, and now we have a podcast. That's just the natural trajectory.
Wait, so how big is a pica?
Oh, God, like probably like smaller than a centimeter.
Okay.
How big is a pica? Approximately 1/6 of an inch.
Interesting.
But, yeah, so that's how you get like 10-point font, is that the thing I just looked up says that a pica contains 12 points, so 12-point font is 1 pica.
Okay.
But
I never knew that was a thing.
You would only know
so cool.
That's a thing if you had either been a printer in like the 1600s and or weirdly had access to letterpress printing in college and got really into it for like a little bit, and then also skipped your astronomy class to do that.
Yes. So if you're Johannes Gutenberg or Amanda Silberling, you'll know what a pica is.
The 2 genders.
Awesome. Isabel, what about you?
Okay, my favorite unit of measurement, and I'm saying this purely to make my friends who are Canadian or have Celsius for some God knows what reason as their temperature mad, is Fahrenheit. I think it's just a much more reasonable, like, it makes more intuitive sense when you look at it to figure out whether it is hot or cold on like a 0 to 100 scale of like, oh, how cold is it out? Do I need a jacket? For like daily use, I think that's better, and I don't understand why my partner has theirs in Celsius.
Yeah, they're American.
They're wrong.
Yeah, they're American.
Oh, then they're double
They're
wrong.
from New Jersey.
Because scientifically, Fahrenheit is the one that's more attuned to human perception of temperature.
Exactly.
It just makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'll give the metric system everything else. But we won with Fahrenheit.
Thank you for your support in these trying times where everyone I know is using Celsius. And by everyone, I mean like 4 people.
So wrong. Even the scientists I know don't use Celsius.
That's funny.
Ugh. Ridiculous. Okay, next question. Do you feel like your zodiac sign fits you as a person? Is it appropriate for your personality?
Yes. Yeah. I am a Taurus. My relationship to astrology is that I think it is fun and it is a way of understanding the world around us that I don't think has a true scientific basis. However, if astrology tells me something bad, I'm like, well, that's true. Like, I'm supposed to enter my Saturn return next year, which apparently means that like hard stuff is going to happen in your life. And I'm like, I kind of see the writing on the wall. Like I sort of see like some things are kind of in a situation where I'm like, this might get bad or it might not. But then I think it's going to get bad because my Saturn return is coming.
Right. And some things are a self-fulfilling prophecy if you're like primed to notice them. So it's all powerful in the way that the placebo effect is very, very powerful. Isabel, do you match yours?
With the caveat that I think that astrology stuff is mostly bullshit, but fun bullshit in the same way that hot take MBTI is. I do think mine matches really well. I'm an Aquarius, and every Aquarius thing I've read is like, yeah, you're like independent and insane and cause problems. And I'm kind of like, it's like, yeah, you're artsy and creative and like you can't like be pinned down. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually pretty fair. It's really hard to pin me down.
Look, the official stance of the pod is that it's bullshit, but it's fun bullshit, especially only if you're not using it to harm others. Okay, next question. What's the best planet?
I don't know why Venus came into mind. I may not have gone to my astronomy class in college, but my second grade teacher completely ignored the curriculum and just taught us random shit. And I remember everything from second grade. And we learned a lot about the planets, and I was like, damn, they got like crazy like acid rainstorms on Venus. It just seems like the most inhospitable planet ever. So I think Venus is taking a strong stance against colonialism because they're like, don't fucking come here.
You're right. It's Venus against European settlers.
Exactly.
For eternity.
Earth, like we live here. It's the only place we can live. Like it's not my
really
favorite
reasonable answer.
It's not my favorite, but it's objectively the best. I don't want to go to the other ones. It seems like a bad time to go to the other ones.
Yeah.
Yes. Or is it perhaps the best time that it's ever been to go to one of the other ones?
Okay, fair.
I don't know. Well, I think it seems like right now the way in which you would go to one of the other ones would be tied up within like Elon Musk and like.
But there's never been a better time to send Elon Musk on his own to Mars. Have we considered this?
Oh yeah.
Like he wants to go to Mars. Let him go to Mars. He probably can't do as much damage there.
Right. I would fund that. If I would pay money to send him to another planet.
I would chip in like $100.
Exactly.
This would be a really funny like crowdfunding like thing to do as a bit. Or just like a change.org petition of like, let's send Elon Musk to Mars.
Yeah, and then the actual money goes toward like foreign aid or something.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's imagine that we are going to a different planet. We're not sending Elon Musk, but we are, and we are in charge of the playlist as we blast off. So what song do you want to play during launch?
Again, I don't know why. This is just what first thought, best thought. Just Dance by Lady Gaga.
That's really good.
That is really good.
I'm firing on all cylinders right now. I don't know.
I've heard a lot of these answers. That's a really good one.
My answer is Planetary Go by My Chemical Romance.
Oh, that's a good one.
So appropriate. Okay, well, we'll have the headphones so we can play our own individual songs as we blast off.
No, I'm down with, like, I feel like, you know, we can rotate. We can make a remix, a club remix of Lady Gaga and My Chemical Romance.
That's what would actually hit so hard, because Planetary Go is kind of like a club banger in a way that My Chemical Romance usually isn't a club banger.
Yeah.
So
okay, so a mashup we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all the DJs who I'm sure are listening to Pale Blue Pod, get on this, please, and send it my way.
Yeah, when DJs get off their shift at like 3 a.m. at a club, they go home and they listen to their Comfortable Space podcast to fall asleep.
Right, yes. I like to think that all of the various people of the night listen to Pale Blue Pod to help them sleep. All right. Well, I feel like I know you a little bit better. Thank you for bringing your full selves to this office hour. But for the rest of the time, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite traditions in the astronomy community, which is writing April Fool's papers to come out on or around April Fools. Like these are legit papers. People do real research. They write up code. They don't go through any sort of formal peer review process, but it's really fun to see. It's also really fun to see the like legit papers that get published on April 1st, usually from international people, because they don't know. They don't know that the Americans are going to be pulling these pranks.
See, I really like this as a concept that, like, the science is actually accurate, because as a journalist, April 1st is the worst day because everyone's trying to trick you all day, and, like, none of it is actually true. And then if actual real news does happen on April 1st, you are, like, fact-checking within an inch of your life. And, but it's fun with science because even if it is an April Fool's joke, if the science is real, you're not hurting anyone by telling people real information.
Right. One of the categories in this little bracket tournament thing that we're about to do is lies. There are some of these papers that are just people telling you lies, but it's clear when that's the case.
Cool.
So there were 21 papers in this year's crop, which is average, I think. If you want to learn more about the origin of this tradition, then I covered it in last year's April Fool's episode, which I'm putting in the research notes for patrons. But this year, I'm going to go through my favorite of these 21 papers. We're going to do a bracket, and in the first round, you just get to hear the titles of the paper. So you're telling me which paper you would want to hear more about based on the title.
Okay. We
have, in the first category, which is the Taylor Swift category, 2 different papers. This seems to be a theme, an annual theme. There are always some papers that are about or involved with Taylor Swift somehow.
Interesting.
So title number 1, The Eras Tour, mapping the eras of Taylor Swift to the cosmological eras of the universe.
Okay.
Very good.
That's option number 1. Option number 2 is a swift analysis of the Eras Tour set list and implications for astrophysics research, parentheses, Taylor's version.
I'm going to go with the second one because the first one, I feel like it feels more woo-woo in a way that I'm like, I don't need that. But then the second one, it also sounds woo-woo, but I'm like, but how does the Taylor Swift set lists, like, implicate astrophysics? Like, I genuinely want to know.
That is the question. Isabel, do you agree with this vote?
I disagree. I want to hear the first one because, like, this sounds like a good post. Do you know what I mean? Like, this sounds like a good post, even if it's like a paper of made-up stuff where it's like, yeah, here's which parts of the Eras Tour map to the universe. And I'm like, all right, I want to see what your logic is here. It's going to be fun to read.
Oh, okay. So you disagree here. We're going to try and do a quick tiebreaker before I come in. Which of you is the bigger Taylor Swift fan?
I feel like neither of us are really huge Taylor heads.
Okay.
I have read a book about Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Swifties.
I think if you read a book about Taylor Swift, I think that actually overrides me not reading a book about Taylor Swift. Because I feel like I only really get ambient Taylor in my life.
Yeah, I guess, like, her music, I'm like, it's fine. Some of it's good, some of it's not good. I think she's just interesting as a cultural figure to study, like, what happens when you are, like, the most famous woman on the planet. And there's this music writer, Rob Sheffield, that I like, who wrote a book about Taylor Swift. And I was like, well, I want to know what he thinks about Taylor Swift. So I read it, and I enjoyed it. Also, a fun fact, which TBD when this episode comes out, I did see something where Travis Kelce unfollowed Taylor Swift on Instagram.
Oh, shit.
So, what does that mean? Who knows?
My God, there's tea.
There's tea.
Okay. Wow.
There's tea for Taylor.
It's sounding like Amanda is the bigger.
Yeah, I feel like Amanda knows more than me here, so.
Taylor head, as she calls. Okay, so we're going to go with a swift analysis of the Eras Tour set list and implications for astrophysics research. I will tell you that the first one where they map the Taylor Swift eras or like the Taylor Swift albums onto different eras of the universe, like going back to cosmology and the different phases of how the universe formed and grew. That was just like an interesting exercise if you care about cosmology. But one thing I appreciated was that in cosmology, there's this period called the inflationary epoch. And that's when the universe really ballooned up like more than, 10,000 times its original size in less than a tiny fraction of a second. And so this paper mapped the inflationary epoch onto Taylor's like Rocket to Stardom album. What do you think that is? I guess you're not really Swifties.
I don't know, like 1989.
1989. Yeah. At least that is what the analysis showed, that's when she got really popular. And so that's her inflationary period. But we're going to hear more about the set list and astrophysics implications in the next round.
Cool.
Because we have our first winner.
Woo!
Okay, we have in our next category, this is the liars category. These are papers where the researchers just straight up lied on April Fool's Day. So the first for you is called Orlando's Flask, Detection of a Lost and Found Valley on the Moon.
Okay.
Interesting. And then the second is Jacquetium, a new naturally occurring chemical element.
I'm going to go with the second one because I feel like that sounds like less impactful misinformation.
I was going to go with the second one just because I want to see how they talk about a new element that's been discovered. That's not like some bizarre radioactive thing, which I feel like has been like the last many elements.
Okay, when we have a unanimous winner, Jacquetium is moving on to the next category. I actually didn't think that was going to be the winner. Oh. I thought you would go with the new valley found on the moon. So since that's not moving on to the next round, here are some of my favorite things from that paper. Basically, they developed an algorithm called Zoom In that is really good at zooming in on pictures, and they put it towards the moon and found this valley that is where all of the lost things on Earth go. They have this demonstration of the algorithm zooming in to show the Hunchback on Notre Dame, which is very fun. And then the last line in their paper is saying that they're going to try and use their algorithm to search in this lost and found valley for like any sense of like wit or intelligence from humanity.
That's really good.
It was so spicy. Sadly, they profusely thanked ChatGPT in their acknowledgments, which made me wonder how much of it they wrote themselves. But, still an interesting idea. So, Jacquetium is the winner.
All right. I do like how that one turned out, because when it's really obvious that it's not real, I feel, I don't know, but also people like don't understand humor on the internet, which is crazy.
That's true. I want to find the winner of those two rounds before we move on to the next one, actually. So we're going to put this Taylor Swift paper up against Jacquetium. I'm going to read the abstracts for both. Popular culture plays a significant role in shaping public interest in science, and Taylor Swift's discography frequently incorporates astrophysics terminology. Have you noticed this?
Yes.
Okay, great. This study examines the occurrence of astrophysics-related words in her lyrics and their representation in the Eras Tour set list. By analyzing the frequency of words in Swift's total discography, we identify that astrophysics is promoted the most within her most recent album, The Tortured Poets Department, whereas songs from Midnights promoted astrophysics the most throughout the Eras Tour, because it was played more times. We categorize words into various disciplines of astrophysics and find that multi-messenger astronomy is promoted the most. So that's things like when you're looking at both gravitational waves and light coming from something, usually a supernova or neutron stars merging. And then they perform the Taylor expansion and predict that 12 plus or minus 5 astrophysical terms will be present in Taylor Swift's next album.
All right, I gotta remember that statistic so that when the next album comes out, we can verify. We can cross-reference. And then the abstract for Jacquetium is actually very short. The paper itself is quite short. And it just says, I report the discovery of Jacquetium, the first naturally occurring element found since more than 80 years. It is volumically the most important element of the local universe. I feel like I gotta go Taylor Swift. I'm not hooked on Jacquetium.
I also feel like Taylor Swift, because I do want to learn more about what's going on there.
I agree. Yeah, Taylor's definitely the winner there. I will say that a fun line from Jacquetium is, the rejection by archive of the first draft of this paper on April 1st, 2019 has taken years for me to overcome psychologically.
That's really good.
All right, that bonus point for them.
Bonus point for them. This study was also enabled by a generous support of self-righteousness.
Also good.
Says.
Yeah,
yes.
The best grant giver.
But still, Taylor Swift wins that round.
As she wins many rounds and many brackets.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Hey there. Isabel and Amanda discovered the seltzer flavor making lab I have under my desk where you can make flavors based on anything, like the nostalgia you feel for chasing fireflies around fields in the summer as a kid. I would love to drink that flavor. So they're going to check that out, and I figured I would use this time to share some messages with you all. The first message is a big thank you to every single one of my patrons who supports this show financially every month. I am an independent podcast, so I couldn't make this show without your support. Or I could, but it would be really difficult. So thank you all. And I want to give a special thank you and shout out to my sun-like stars, Scott Reynolds, Augustin, Tom T, Nicole Bartlett, and a brand new sun-like star has formed in the sky. Welcome and thank you to Ashley Shambo. Might I say, your coronal mass ejections are looking particularly lovely today. If you want to support this indie podcast on Patreon, you can hear your name on the show. You can make it to my patron star chart and get research notes for most episodes for $5 a month. That's at patreon.com/palebluepod. Hotter tiers, like my sun-like stars, get access to Pale Blue Pod at night, where I read bedtime stories in a calm, soothing voice. So it's a big change from normal Pale Blue Pod during the day. And Blue Giant stars get to see videos of the entire episode recording. So you can sign up now, and if you do an annual membership, you get a 13% discount across an entire year. That's 1 percentage point for every constellation on the ecliptic. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate your support. Okay, next up I have a podcast recommendation for you, and it's another show in the Multitude Collective called Big Game Hunger. This is a weekly comedy show where Jenna Stieber and friends craft the next big video game every episode. Starting with a randomly generated genre concept and vibe, Jenna and a variety of funny and game-obsessed guests will take these ideas far enough that they could totally pitch it to a shadowy board of rich investors. And by the end of the episode, they'll have honed an intellectual property so irresistible that you would be ready to risk $25 for it on Steam, but don't worry, they will surely never make the release date. So get ready to laugh about games you love and learn about game trends with Big Game Hunger. New episodes come out every Monday. Check it out. Before we get back to the episode, I want to let you know that next week's topic is the intersection of space and visual art, so stay tuned for that. But Isabel and Amanda are back now with what smells like that feeling you get when a mentor you really admire tells you, "Wow, I didn't think of that. Great job." I might have to try some. Okay, let's get back to this conversation about April Fool's papers. Okay, our next matchup is in the category which I'm calling These Are a Few of My Favorite Things. Paper number 1 is called All About Cookies, the perfect compromise between softness and crispiness. Paper number 2 is called Castroseismology, survey-based analysis of per-mode oscillations suggests inner lives of cats are unknowable.
Oh man, that's
so
hard.
Cats
really
versus
hard.
cookies. Yeah.
These are both really good.
What do you think?
I feel like it might be more scientific to look at the cookie one, but the cat one is a bit more interesting to me, I think.
I would argue that the cookie one is more applicable to our daily lives. I would like to know the perfect cookie. And also, I feel like we already knew that the inner lives of cats are unknowable.
Yeah, that is true. This is not a new discovery.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right. Cookies over cats.
Cookies over cats. All right. I will get to the cookies in a second, but I also need to tell you about the castroseismology paper because it's based on a real method in astronomy for determining the ages of stars called astroseismology. Basically, you look at the pulsations or the vibrations in a star, and if you know roughly what the star is made of and the frequency of its pulsations, you're figuring out a lot of internal mechanisms going on, and that can give you a hint as to how much longer the star is going to survive. So That tells you like the age of the star. And for this paper, they gathered data about 145 cats, their sizes, how much they purr, and how cuddly they are. And they found that cats that purr loudly also purr more often.
This tracks with what I would expect from cats.
They're loud.
Yes.
Vocal.
So now we have that piece of science that we can take with us.
Loud cat that meows a lot. Need that in my life.
Okay, so Cookies is moving on to the next round, where it will face the winner from the numbers category. There were a couple papers that just had to do with numbers. The first title is called "The Universe is Odd." That's it. Just The Universe is Odd. The second title is "What is the Funniest Number? An Investigation of Numerical Humor."
I feel like we've done enough episodes on like number, like Rule 34, 69.
We did do episode 69 of Wow If True is about researching how 69 became a joke and like when it was started to be used as like reference to a sex position and like why that's funny. So I guess I think what, on one hand I'm like, well, I'm curious what they have to say. On the other hand, I think Isabel is right that we've gone deep on this topic before, but I'll let Isabel pick. I like them both.
I'm very curious about both of these.
I feel like the universe is odd can go in so many directions.
That could be good or bad. That could be like...
Yeah, exactly. Can we get like the first sentence of the abstract tiebreaker?
Oh, yeah, actually. Okay, here. Let's do universe is odd first. And the first sentence in that abstract is, "The cosmological principle posits that the universe does not exhibit any specific preference for position or direction."
Okay.
And what is the funniest number starts with, "In a preliminary study of numerical humor, we propose the perceived specificity hypothesis, or PSH."
That sounds interesting. 'Cause I think that's kind of like how it's funnier to say like...
I like that we're taking this April Fool's paper very seriously. Anyway, I think we should do
Me too.
I think we should do the funny numbers one. Because I feel like that's on brand for us, and I feel like I'm curious if they think that the funniest numbers are what we would think are the funniest numbers.
You, I believe, just made the right choice. I'll tell you about the universe's odd paper. It's fairly straightforward. They counted the number of galaxies in different galaxy clusters, and there were an odd number of galaxies way more often than there was an even number of galaxies in these clusters.
Okay. That was fairly straightforward.
It was, yeah, so I'm glad you didn't pick that one.
Is there, like, a Fibonacci thing there, or no?
No, not even.
Interesting.
Yeah, just more odd numbers. They have a graph of the numbers, and it is confined to the local neighborhood, like the local universe, so take that with a grain of salt. So now we're going to go cookies versus funny numbers.
Ooh.
Let's do the abstract for All About Cookies. Cookies are enjoyed best when they are both crispy and soft. I investigate in which proportion the cookies are crispy and soft, and disentangle whether it makes them biscuits, cakes, or none of the above. I baked cookies for colleagues in Stockholm and in the University of Geneva in Switzerland, adopting my mum's, etc. recipe. I created a dedicated survey for my colleagues with 3 well-selected questions to answer while eating one cookie. The weighted average mean of the crispiness and softness, weighted by the respective enjoyment of the cookie, over the whole population amount to 7 plus or minus 1 and 5.3 plus or minus 1.4, respectively. The enjoyment of the cookies amounts to 9.1 plus or minus 2.3. People like my cookies. And cookies are neither cakes nor biscuits. They are just cookies.
Interesting.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like Kenji Lopez Alt's like Food Lab column where he did like an extensive like how to make the best chocolate chip cookie like column. Like I think it was like 3 different columns where he finally comes out with like, this is the ultimate cookie that everybody likes, and does a bunch of like experiments on like, here's the actual proportions you want to do. It feels like this, but like as a joke.
Yeah, I think that's right. It reminds me of like test kitchen stuff. The next abstract for what is the funniest number goes like this. In a preliminary study of numerical humor, we propose the perceived specificity hypothesis. The PSH states that for non-negative integers less than 100, the funniness of a number increases with its apparent precision. A survey of 68 individuals supports the veracity of this hypothesis and indicates that oddly specific numbers tend to be funniest. Our results motivate future study in this novel subfield.
They knew exactly what they were doing there. I want to go with the numbers paper.
Yeah, I really respect the cookies paper, but I feel like the numbers one, I just want to know more. I'm also thinking about how the 30 to 50 feral hogs joke plays into this. Is that specific or not? Like, on one hand, 30 to 50 is not very specific, but specifically saying 30 to 50 is also specific.
Yeah. Right. Like, why not like 25 to 50 or something? Like 10. Like, it is a very specific range.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the result of the cookies one was that it should be, on a scale from 1 to 10, it should be a 7 level in crispiness and a 5 level in softness.
Okay.
That's apparently the best cookie.
I agree. I think it needs to be a little soft, but it also needs to be crispy.
You want crispy edges and like a soft center. I feel like that's what the people want in a cookie.
Yes.
Guys, I really fucking want a cookie right now.
I know. It's really all about, you gotta look at that egg and butter temperature when you're baking. Like, that's really what gets you. Okay, so now we have the Taylor Swift astrophysics terms up against funny numbers. I have a bi seed. I don't know if that's the right language, but there is a paper that made it all the way to the end potentially. So we have 3 up against each other. I am going to let one of you choose one to eliminate.
Ooh.
So in this competition, I want to see which of you have played pranks before. And whichever one of you has played what I deem to be the coolest prank will get to eliminate one of these papers to go up against the bi seed. Is this too complicated? I don't know. I've been watching a lot of reality competition TV.
I don't know. I feel like podcasting, I'm learning in this episode, is really a first thought, best thought endeavor where I'm like, I don't know if this is the best prank, but it's the one that comes to mind. But
perfect.
My boss in college was named Allie Katz. That is her given name. Luckily, she really likes cats. Like, it really does fit her well. But she had a bunch of little, like, mini cat figurines on her desk. And then one year for April, I don't even know if it was April Fool's or if it was just like something, we took all of the cats and got little mini dog figurines and put them there instead.
That's really good.
Changed her name to Allie Dogs for a day. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if this counts as a prank, but it's the first thing I thought of, which is that there's a lot of backstory to this, but long story short, me and Amanda were on an island with like 25 other people. And one of the nights we were doing a PowerPoint party. And for mine, what I did is I got people to send me, and also I looked through my photos of people sitting, specifically 2 of the dudes there who I'm friends with, pictures of one of the guys sitting on the other guy. And that was my entire PowerPoint presentation, was just like, look, this happens a lot.
Yeah, apparently there's just a lot of pictures of people sitting on this one guy.
Like 10 years of photos of this man.
Wasn't there one where, like, his parents were in it or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's like, imagine, like, 5 men sitting on each other's laps.
Imagining. I'm picturing it. Did he know that he had this thing of people sitting on it? Like, was it known to everyone?
He knew. I don't know that it was known to everyone that this was a whole bit, and I think some people there were confused as to what's going on. I don't think he was expecting the PowerPoint. I do think he knew that this happened to him on account of it happening to him for perhaps a decade or so.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. One of my biggest fears is being perceived in ways that I don't perceive, and you just made your friend be perceived.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, like, it's fine. He knew this would happen.
No, I get it. Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's a good prank, because it is my biggest fear, but it happened in a funny way. So I think I would be okay with it in that situation. So yes, I'm saying you have won the prank war, Isabel. Congratulations. Fair. Which of our semifinalists would you like to send through to the final? Either the Taylor Swift astrophysics terms or the funniest number?
That's
You
hard.
don't know what the buy seed is yet.
On one hand, the Taylor Swift paper sounds really interesting. On the other, I am dying to know if they come to any conclusion of what the funniest number is. So I think I'm going to have to go with the funniest number and hope to God that that number is funny.
Okay. Excellent.
I would have done the same.
Okay, good.
Oh, good. So
Hive
it's
mind.
unanimous. Yeah, I think that the outcome of the Taylor Swift paper was stated in the abstract, as it should be. So we're not missing much. I will tell you that the BiSeed paper is called the Rosetta Stone, adopting a Gen Alpha colloquial language to improve scientific paper riz and aura from a skibbity perspective.
Oh man, these are both so like these are really made for us.
I know.
Oh man.
I feel like I've been pranked with that last paper.
Yeah, I think Moiya just pranked us.
I think Moiya just pranked us.
Oh, it would have been so good for me to make up a paper and have you pick which one I made up. No, for next year. I'll think about that for next year. But would you like to hear the abstract for the Rosetta Stone?
I would love to
Let's
hear
go.
the Rosetta Stone abstract.
The field of astronomy evolves rapidly, and it is essential to keep up with these changes in order to effectively communicate with the broader community. However, communication itself also changes as new words, phrases, and slang terms enter the common vernacular. This is especially true for the current youngest generations, who are capable of efficiently communicating via the internet. In order to maintain effective communication, we explore the possibility of expanding the language used in scientific communication to include recently coined slang. This attempt at outreach, while potentially very difficult, could provide a means to expand the field and capture the attention of early career scientists, improving retention within the field. However, our results indicate that while possible, this method of communication is, probably not really worth it, no cap. I will say the absolute best part of this paper is the, little dictionary of slang terms, and then there are some translations of scientific text into Gen Alpha speak.
Based
So
and vibe
good.
pilled.
I guess my thinking is I really like the Rosetta Stone. I am just thrilled with its existence. However, similar to the Taylor Swift one, I feel like we kind of get the point from the abstract. And I still want to know what the funniest number is. However, if the funniest number is either 42 or 69, I will be mad.
It's not.
Okay, cool.
It's not.
I'm really
So-
pulling for 74.
It would be crazy if you predicted that, by the way. Yeah, I have similar feelings to you. I feel like we know what the Rosetta Stone is about, and I hope that in future generations, that is the only thing that survives and not the Rosetta Stone, because I think that would be very funny. It also reminds me of, when I was working at the law firm, and we did have kind of a couple of days where we were explaining Gen Z slang to lawyers
Oh, no.
as, lunchtime conversations, so it was, me and the paralegal explaining this, and shit was weird. It was very funny. Yeah, I'm gonna go with numbers, too.
Okay, interesting. It turns out that they found odd numbers. Remember, the universe is odd, and apparently odd numbers are funny. Odd numbers with degrees of specificity of 2 are funniest. And their degree of specificity factor is how far is a number from the nearest multiple of 5. So odd numbers that are farthest away from a multiple of 5 that they could be. That's going to be anything that ends in a 3 and a 7. So 13s and 17s and going up. But they only evaluated numbers less than 100. However, within that, 42 and 69, not the funniest.
So I will say I appreciate their creativity, that they weren't just Hitchhiker's Guide / haha the sex number, because that's lazy science.
Oh, yeah.
It does kind of remind me of how there's apparently if you ask some large language models to name a number, it won't produce randomized results because it'll reproduce the results in the training data of the people. And apparently people, when they are asked to name a number 1 through 10, will disproportionately say like 7 or something. I don't know the exact number, but yeah.
Because we find it funny.
So I'm interested in the relationship between the funniness of numbers and how much we want to say it in pick a number 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is it funny, or is it what feels the most random, or the one is left out the most? Like, there's some interesting psychology going on there.
Yeah.
The paper tries to go into like almost the psychology of humor and what makes something funny, which is why they land on this specificity means funny assumption. But yeah, it was an interesting paper to read.
I think it is true though, because like the Pizza Hut Taco Bell song is funny because it's Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, but if it was like, I'm at the combination pizza parlor actually, no, that's kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
The combination pizza parlor taqueria. That's pretty good.
But I feel like that's funny because of the original, right? Like, so it's like a reference. Maybe what's funny is when you make things that are non-specific very specific and things that are very specific non-specific.
Yeah. That makes sense. They didn't go that far. Like, they're not comedians, you know?
Amanda, do you remember when we tried to create a new 69? Like a funny number to say?
Yes, I forget what it even was.
Well, apparently it should have been 77.
It should have been 77.
Huh. I want to say like 12, but I don't think that's what it was.
It was something like 19. I think it was.
It was
19.
I don't... See, this is the problem with having a podcast is like, people will say things like, oh, it's this episode where you talked about that, and I'm like, did we? Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And we make so many, it's hard to remember.
I know. I say so much shit on microphones, and some of it makes sense, and some of it does not.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with choosing the What's the Funniest Number paper as the top April Fool's paper?
Like, I guess if we're going by a metric of what has interested us most, I feel like we have arrived at a general consensus that the funny numbers was the most thought-provoking here.
Yeah, if we're going by like the best April Fool's paper as the metric of not just the funniest, but the one that we were like, all right, let's crack this one open and like look at the insides. Oh, this is actually funny. I think we picked the right one. For pure funniness, honestly, the Gen Z slang one probably wins just because Gen Z slang is so funny.
Yeah, the Rosetta Stone is just that turn of phrase. I feel like there's sort of like a meme of like, do academics just write papers so that they get to title it a certain thing? And I feel like that really comes out in April Fool's papers because you don't have to do as much actual research before naming the thing.
Yeah, you can backname things a lot. Would you like to hear one of the translations in the Rosetta Stone papers?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay. They have a few different examples. This one is about the Hubble constant, which has to do with how fast the universe is expanding. And so the regular scientific speak says, the major conclusion is that there is no reason to discard exploding world models on the evidence of inadequate timescale alone, because the possible values of h are within the necessary range. Okay, sure. Big words, sounds, nouns, things. The translation of that is, the high-key conclusion is that, no cap, we can't discard the exploding world models as we lack mad evidence of sus timescale because of the on-God H values.
That's really good.
Who did this?
That's really good.
Yeah. How old is the person that wrote this?
That's a great question. I don't recognize these people, which means they're probably like grad students or postdocs.
That makes sense then, because that's like, I would love to read this paper to like a 16-year-old and watch them scream about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Please. I don't know any youths, so someone who knows youths should do this.
If you're listening right now and you are either a youth or know the youths, you have your assignment.
I really think the youngest person I like know, who's not like a relative, is like 26.
No, yeah, that's like, I went to a birthday party recently for a friend of a friend who, when I met this friend of a friend, they were described to me as, she was really born in the year 2000.
Really born.
like just, I guess, because like the rest of this friend group is like 29, 30, and then she's 25, which is like not a weird, like, it's
a
not
normal
weird
age
to
to
be
be.
friends with a 25-year-old if you're 28, 29, 30. But like the fact that she was born in the year 2000, and then I met her and she immediately asked me about astrology, and I was like, I can see it.
Do you identify with your birth year? Yes.
Well,
yes, you do.
Early on in WoW of True, we were like, what if we're actually Gen Z and not millennials? And then we were like, no. I do Pilates and drink green smoothies. I'm a millennial.
Right. I ask myself this question too, because
I think we're like the same age.
Yeah, I actually think I'm like a year old. I'm 30.
You're a year older
okay,
than us, yeah.
Yeah, a year older, which shocked me when you said you were about to go through your Saturn's return.
Yeah, but yeah, we are, right now Isabel's 29, and I'm about to be 29. So.
Yeah, 29 is really close to 28. I'm gonna be real, nothing has changed, so that's, look forward to that.
All right.
Yeah, there was no difference for me. Yay, we have a winner.
Yay.
We have a winner, and it's not the Rosetta Stone, which I put till the end, but you were more discerning than that, so good job. There are a couple of honorable mentions. One is a paper that proposes we can make papers free, because did you know that papers aren't free?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
so fucked up.
because when I try to do research for things where what I think is the peak of humor is typing in stupid things on JSTOR, and then I have to ask our editor, Allison, who works at a university, to get the papers.
Okay, honestly, Allison working at a university is so clutch. Like, she's able to she's an archivist. She can, like, find things.
Oh,
it's actually
bless.
incredible.
Yes, such an important skill. So it's totally fucked up that they aren't free for the people who want to read them or for the people who want to write and submit them.
Yep.
So this paper proposes that we could make all of that free by raising advertising money by putting like ads in the spare spaces in our plots. In astronomy, there's this particular type of plot called a corner plot, where it's like if you're trying to compare a bunch of different values and see how they relate to each other, you make a corner plot. But it's a triangle, and papers are square, like the physical paper itself is square. So that leaves a bunch of empty space where you could put ads for companies.
That's really
I like
good.
that.
I like that.
And then there was another paper that was called Astronomers Are Getting Less Creative Over Time, is why this title isn't better.
We love a good meta text.
And they compared the complexity of old constellations to new constellations. And we apparently are connecting complexity of something with creativity in this paper because they tracked that the constellations get less complex over time. Like there are fewer stars involved and you have to draw fewer lines between them to make the shapes. And they're saying that means astronomers are getting less creative over time.
Presumably they're also running out of stars to make constellations with on account of other ones having been used in the previous constellations. Like all the good ones have been taken.
That. I mean, it's in a totally different part of the sky.
Oh, well, okay.
But
I
yes,
got nothing then.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
How do you feel about the pranking ability of astronomers after hearing these?
Well, I guess, I don't know if they were trying to, like, prank us. Like, I feel like it was pretty, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe because we're being shown these, like, in the context of their April Fool's papers.
No, I feel like we'd be able to tell that the Taylor Swift ones and the cookies ones and, like, stuff like that. It's definitely like, oh, this is, like, a bit. I think they're good bits, to be clear.
Yeah. I guess maybe with the specificity of humor thing, I do think it's funnier when they, like, don't clearly acknowledge it's a bit. Although I do like kind of the glibness, if that's a word, of the my cookies are good being in the abstract.
Yes. People like parentheses my cookies.
Yeah.
It's so good. The Jakisham one, like that's the type of confidence I aspire to.
Yeah, I do like the jokes about, like, this paper got rejected in 2019. I don't know. I think academics are funny because, again, the specificity. I think the more specific a joke is, sometimes that makes the joke funnier, and amongst themselves, academics can make really specific jokes that are really funny only to them.
That's true. The things that would cut up a symposium audience, I've tried to say them at like an open mic or in mixed company. It does not land the same.
What do you have one off the top of your head?
The first thing that came to mind was an example from my book where I had what I thought was a hilarious joke about different gravitational potentials. And I was like, oh yeah, and the Triangulum galaxy would never pick oblate. Like, prolate is the big thing over there. Like, it was so ridiculous. And you had to not only be an astronomer, but like a galactic dynamics astronomer to really understand this joke. And I went with it. And
yeah, I don't know what that means, but I believe you that it's funny.
Yeah, thanks. It was one of my favorite jokes in the book, and no one has ever noticed it.
One day you're going to get an email in like 5 years, like, good joke.
Good joke.
And then you'll just be delighted.
My other favorite joke that no one has noticed that I think you'll appreciate, Amanda, is when the galaxy's talking about it's the local group of galaxies we all live in, and it's saying something like, I don't understand why hometowns are so important to you humans. Like, what is a cheesesteak and what does it have to do with horses?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the galaxy just didn't understand that a filly was not.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It is bad. It's bad,
Another
Isabel.
funny thing is that the Philadelphia Phillies are not horses.
No.
But like puns.
Yeah.
Because it's not spelled the same.
Yeah.
My editor shouldn't have let me keep the joke in, but I insisted.
I think you're powerful for that.
I reviewed a book. You know that thing where like at the back of the book, there's like a nice thing from another author. I did that for somebody I know, but there is a Sonic the Hedgehog joke in it that apparently I am the only person that picked up on, because it starts with like the main character carrying this weapon called which she calls Knuckles, and its formal name later you learn is Echidna, like Knuckles the Echidna. And I emailed him like, hey man, did you make a Sonic the Hedgehog joke? And he was like, you are the only person to notice. Yes.
That feels so good. As both the author and the person who's the first to notice.
Yeah, I feel like there's no point of writing a book if you don't make silly little jokes in there only for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me and giving me your opinions on these papers. Where can people find you and your work online? Like, I would like to hear you both brag about yourself for a little bit.
First and foremost, if you think me and Isabel are a delight, you can listen to Wow If True, also a Multitude podcast, wherever pods are cast. A lot of my writing is on TechCrunch, because that is where I currently work. Social media-wise, I'm mostly on Blue Sky at amanda.omg.lol, because that is a URL that I own, and I will use it.
Yeah, wow. Amanda's posts are good. Go follow her Blue Sky.
Thank you.
And I am, first and foremost, go listen to Wow If True, because if you think we were good here, we are worse on our own podcast. Wait, no, I meant the other one. And I am at isabel.kim on Blue Sky, and that is mostly where I'm posting. And all of my free online fiction can be found at links from isabel.kim. I got this URL when I was 15 because I knew I would need it someday, and I use it fucking constantly.
It works.
It's a great URL.
It is. Thank you. All my free online fiction is there, and please buy Sublimation next year, because then I don't have to go back to the law firm.
June 2nd, 2026.
Ooh. Okay,
yes.
I'll be on the lookout. That's so exciting.
Yeah. I read the book, but I didn't blurb it. But there are some parts that I was like, Isabel, this is funny. And she was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when pre-orders come out, I will be so fucking annoying about it.
Great. As you should be. That's your prerogative. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming to my office. Feel free to take some seltzers to go. But I have some grading to do, so unfortunately office hours have to end.
Oh, man. Well, I will take this cosmologically flavored LaCroix. It tastes like the universe, so I'll let you know how that tastes.
Yeah. It's actually a special blend that tastes a little bit different for everyone, but the base notes, there are hints of rum and raspberries.
Ooh. Yo, I would buy that if LaCroix came out with that flavor. I would actually buy it. That'd be funny as hell.
Raspberry rum LaCroix.
Universe flavor. Anyway.
Wait, they actually should. LaCroix, get at me. But listeners, whatever your seltzer water flavor of choice is, you're still space.
Yay.
Yay.
Pale Blue Pod is hosted by me, Dr. Moiya McTier, a.k.a. the universe's bestie. I created the show with original co-host Corinne Caputo, a comedienne extraordinaire, and help from the Multitude Productions team. Our theme music is by Evan Johnston, and our cover art is by Shay McMullen, and our audio editing is handled by the incomparable Misha Stanton. I am Go Astro Mo everywhere online, and you can stay in touch with the show and the universe by following Pale Blue Pod on Instagram or checking out our website, palebluepod.com. We are a member of Multitude, an independent podcast collective and production studio. So if you like Pale Blue Pod, you will love the other shows that live at multitude.productions. And if you want a shout out on the show and research notes for every episode, you can join our community over at patreon.com/palebluepod for just about $1 per episode. Thank you so much for listening to Pale Blue Pod. I'll be back next week. Bye.